stood firm. He said, I know what to do. Follow me, and I will save you. He meant it. Wanted to keep them safe. His people. Then he saw that fear made the people turn to him. They trusted him, obeyed him, raised him above the others. Their fear made him strong. And as the land healed, and the people healed, their fear helped. And he saw them start to turn away, to think for themselves, to choose their own path. And he felt his own strength ebb in turn. And he wanted to hold on to that strength, to hold his place in their hearts, their wills. So he made the giants, brought them forth from the shaking earth, the roaring sea, the blinding snow, brought them into being. And the people who trusted him and obeyed him, they saw them too, and saw they had more to fear.
This is the catalyst.
He knew he held the key. Make them fear. And you can make them do anything. Make them hate. Make them punish the weak. Make them turn against one another, each on each.
Your own son, dude?
My boy. Why did you have to turn your back on me?
Hold him, Senua. He chose you, Senua.
Hold him.
So brave.
I am going to kill him.
We will kill him.
There is always someone ready to take his place. You told me that yourself. Might have been me if I had never met you. You have to show them a different way. You have to redeem them.
How do I stop this?
You came to stop the sacrifices. Kill the giant.
Father. Tyrant.
My father's name
One name.
is only fear.
You will end this. End this, Senua.
One-on-one combat.
Death with you. They are like my sons, such as this. I keep them safe from it.
Ah, damn. Can't do heavy attacks.
The lion who tries to bring us down.
The shit.
You can see through him.
Ooh.
This is the end for you. You can't defeat me. I have the strength of skulls.
Damn. Oh, that was close. Bastard.
Are you starting to see my power? I will. You can see the truth. Focus.
No. I will shine a light on your lies, and they will see the truth. There are no giants, it's just you. A lady.
It's not over yet. It's me they trust.
Something is changing. It's changing, can you feel it? All he has created. All of those alive. All the shadows. Darkness. Breaking into pieces. You can see it. You can hear it. His people are turning against him. They are all
Ah.
against him now. Confused. Lost. Scared. They look to you. Look at you, Senua. You can show them the truth, Senua. Show them what he really is. The world that he created. The world you destroyed. Show them his lies. He is just like your father. Terrorist. Just like your father. You are different. Nothing like him. Nothing like your father. You are strong. Look at him. Just an old man. Old man. All his strength comes from his people.
He has nothing now.
He is weak.
Now that they have left him, he is all alone.
Like all tyrants. Hollow. And empty.
There is nothing,
Nothing in sight.
nothing at all.
Show them he is just
Damn.
a man.
Just a man.
Show them he is weak. You know what to do.
Nothing.
Do it! Do it!
Do you really want the truth? Each person who follows you, you bear their weight on your back. Soon you will do anything to protect them, no matter what pain you inflict on others. And then you will find their belief makes you strong. And you will want to hold on to that strength no matter what. You will become me. You are your father's daughter.
He brought you people here to murder you.
Do you see how they cling to you, pleading? Do you see how their hands drag you down? You are everything. What would you do to keep them from harm? What would you do for the truth?
She has to say what she has to say.
I choose how to end this.
She couldn't just do it.
Couldn't.
She chose a different path.
She's not like him.
We are not a monster.
You chose a different path.
All the questions answered. Truth burning bright to scour away the darkness. Shadows of horror and hate writ large on the sky. Phantoms made from fear. Darkness outside makes darkness inside. She sees it. But the darkness is inside her too. Because she loves, even after everything. She loves. And if she loves, what will she do to save that love, to keep that promise? All the lost ones, when they find her, what will she do to protect them? All those names, all those lives. What will she do to hold them? Wisdom has a price. She is her mother's child. But she is also her father's. I see it now. The darkness is inside me. But not the way I thought.
Yes, feel it.
Yes, you can see it, can't you?
It is his darkness. Not
Your
hers.
darkness.
And it carves a path for me.
Your blood in your bones,
But I can't see where it leads.
haunting you forever.
Part of me wants to let go of the fear. Let go of my shadows. always true, always right, because they tell me so. Keeping them safe, keeping their belief alive, no matter the cost. Is this my fate? Can I choose my way?
What will we become?
We are not our fathers. There is always a choice. You taught me that.
We will choose.
Together.
You decide.
All her life she has been alone. She chose it. A shield to keep her heart from harm. A hymn to still the other voices, the ones outside. Not anymore. The ones she saved, the names she found, they lift her up. Their hands reach out to hers. And now, she reaches back to them. Her story is not written. There is always a choice.
So that's the infamous ending. Maybe that's why a lot of people were pissed off at the end. It is somewhat abrupt, but at the same time, there is no full conclusion to Senua's real story. So it does make me wonder, and hey zombie by the way, it does make me wonder if Ninja Theory wants to kind of wrap it up with one more game. I just don't know where the story will go if that's the case. To be honest, it's one of those endings that is vague enough to where you could just end it right there if they really wanted to. I've played a lot of these kind of games where an ending will happen and it's always very like polarizing, and people have a tendency to either love the ending or, you know, kind of like it, or just extremely fucking hate the ending. I'm one of those though, to where I sometimes watch like, you know, artsy films or read books that have very obscure tells throughout the whole entire journey. And I can see where they're wanting to go with this. I definitely, you know, to knock out the big elephant in the room, you know, combat, it's the same thing that they've done in the first game. A little bit more visceral, pretty much like finishes. There's almost like visceral endings to each and every fight, and they kind of flow into one of another when it comes to each enemy you fight. I can see where a lot of people get a little bored with the fighting itself, get a little bored with the variety of enemies too. So I can see where that comes into play. That's why a lot of people tend to, if they give Senua Saga a score, it would drop because of the combat itself. I can just also see why a lot of people tend to dislike this game when it comes to the length of the game, mainly when it comes to the value of the length of it compared to, you know, games have always been kind of like that, to where you compare to how many dollars are you going to pay for the game, which this game as of right now is around 50 or so bucks, to around a solid 8-hour experience. There have been games like that in the past though that are around that, and it just depends on the experience itself. However, Senua Saga, the only thing going for it when it comes to replayability factor is of course the, you know, the lore collectibles and all that. So yeah, it tends to be a slight issue. I don't know. Okay, so there's nothing. New narrators unlocked. Okay. So we've undone that. But yeah, to kind of wrap up kind of how I feel with that, I was a fan. I was a big fan of the first one, even though I have somewhat of the same issues when it comes to everyone else with the first Hellblade. And Hellblade 2 still has those issues. They didn't seem to expand upon what they did with the first one. The puzzles seem to be, in a way, more simplified. A lot of people hold issue with that, you know, the puzzles, and no matter what difficulty you play the combat on, it's a little too easy, and due to the length of the game too, it's just the difficulty doesn't increase the length of the game in the proper way as well. So I can see that though as well. However, though, my positive feedback when it comes to Senua's Saga is that you know, I'm a big sucker for these kind of stories. Due to the fact that a lot of people kind of forget that it's one of the big factors is it's a tale of a character that deals with schizophrenia, even though they kind of amplified it to where she's also a seer as well. So, you know, she's dealing with schizophrenia, being a seer, and also having this heavy weight of her father's sins and everything like that is, you know, kind of playing up to that story factor. And it, of course, transfers over to the second game. And this, you know, at least with this story, it tells that same kind of story, but through Senua's eyes. But you're following, or this character that almost has the same problem, except, you know, without the schizophrenia, you know, has the same issues that Senua has. It's almost like a colleague with similar distresses. You know, their father is pretty much a monster. And you know, they're trying to find a better way other than doing what their fathers have done. And you know, definitely a story of philosophy and everything as well. And you either like those kind of stories or you don't. You either like the philosophical takes on telling a story, or you like more of the streamline, you know, everything's put on the table, you get to understand it and everything like that. I'm one of those people, though, that I like a little bit of everything. I like a little bit of the more obtuse storytelling. I kind of lean towards along that side of, you know, of an obtuse take, to where it's up to the reader to really figure out what to take out of a story itself, other than everything being laid out on the table. Although I'm a very big fan of those kind of stories as well, mainly when it comes to the type of genre. Sci-fi, for instance, I love it when all the lore is kind of placed out, everything's kind of, you know, straightforward, but a little bit complex as well. But I like these kind of stories. So with that in mind, when it comes to comparing it with Hellblade, I'm trying to remember if I gave the first Hellblade I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, because I didn't really, it wasn't necessarily perfect, but it was, if it was able to improve upon it a little bit more, combat variety, a little bit more of there's just certain things kind of missing in the first one. Sadly, though, Hellblade 2 doesn't really truly improve upon the bones that it made. The structure, the concrete flooring. It didn't really improve upon that, but it did pretty much more of the same, which I had no problem with. So, does that detract from the original game when it comes to the overall how I feel about the score and when I compare it to the first one? Hellblade 2 definitely felt like a different kind of journey. Same kind of combat system and everything as well. But I still really enjoyed it. So it sits in that sweet spot of overall good game, pretty damn short of a great game. So I would probably fit it right in the Nestle, it settles right around a 4 out of 5 for me. A lot of people that are not like me are probably going to give it a 3 out of 5. So very understandable. Would I recommend getting Senua Saga? If you don't have Game Pass and at its current price, no. I would not, get it right away, play it right away. If you don't have Game Pass, you can't play it anyway. Unless you fork over the $50+. So I would definitely recommend playing it sometime in the future, especially if you've played the first one. Save your money though. Save your money, or either get Game Pass, for like a month, play it, and play any other games you want to play. But due to the fact of the replayability of Hellblade 2 is, at the very most 2 playthroughs, and then maybe, a few years later after, pass and everything like that, you play through the first one and the second one again to re-engage with the story, because I'm a person like that, to where I like to re-engage with certain games. I'll do that. But yeah, I can definitely see why a lot of people would not like the $50 price tag to Hellblade 2 due to the length of it and also the replayability. But the overall experience was overall fantastic for me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I can see maybe where they could go. It just depends on what Microsoft is going to allow Ninja Theory to do later on. Is there going to be a continuation of Senua's story? Or is Microsoft going to pretty much force them to do something else? I'm trying to remember what Microsoft's deal was. I forgot how many years it was. I think it was like a 4 or 5 year deal where Ninja Theory can do what they want for a certain amount of time during that time period, and then afterwards it's up to Microsoft to figure out what Ninja Theory's path is going to be. So yeah, I think with that said, depending on that time period, they might have enough time to continue Senua's story before it's really truly up to Microsoft. Because I don't know if a lot of people remember correctly, but there were a couple of these, developers that they've acquired over the years, that there was a certain time in which the developers can still be free-flowing when it comes to the creative projects they wanted to do and finish before they really get, gobbled up into the Microsoft machine. So, and I think Ninja Theory was one of them. So, this may or may not be a farewell to Senua. It really just depends on how the future looks when it comes to Ninja Theory and also Microsoft. So we'll see.